r/AskReddit by Reddit and chill. People that have participated on either end of a glory hole. What is the backstory behind your experience? And would you do it again? Me and a friend once did it in a fairly spontaneous duck it let's try it fashion. We both went in the designated areas and came out pretty awkward but satisfied. We were having a laugh about it outside said room when a young man and woman both came out together. Glanced at us, giggled a little and walked away. We went back in to check. And nope. No one else in there. To this day we still don't know who got the guy and who got the girl. Edit. Forgot to say. Would I still do it again? Sure. But first I'd say hi and see if the other person replied in a manly voice or not. You both got the guy. RIP. Not exactly a glory hole story but close enough. Ages ago I went on a coffee date with a girl who told me about her crazy Saturday night. Her and her friend got super drunk at a bar. And her friend wanted to blow someone. The friend put a plastic shopping bag over her head with a hole ripped out of her mouth. And then started servicing a line of dudes in the bathroom. Apparently she got through 8 or 10. They got kicked out. And 3 days later I get told his story on a first date in the tone of lol. My friend is such a train wreck. Putting a plastic bag over their head was a pretty worrying start. After reading through this, is it true there are rarely any female on the other side of a glory hole? Bathrooms are rarely unisex. I saw an ad for a private glory hole on Reddit that happened to be a couple blocks from my house. I DM'd the guy and we agreed to a time. I walked to his unlocked apartment. Entered the unlit bathroom like he told me to and stuck my dong into the hole in the shower curtain. Then I got my dong sucked and it was probably the best blowjob of my life. Positive experience. No regrets. Edit. For those who are saying my actions were unsafe. I crave death and blowjobs about equally. Either way, the sensation of sweet release is worth it. Did you not have any concern about getting murdered or were you just horny enough to ignore those thoughts? Dennis. If I was looking for safe, I wouldn't be sticking my dong through a wall. What if he's also imagining that I'm a girl? I have a gay friend who told me about a time he took the plunge. He is normally very straight-laced and stuck his dong through at a club in Salt Lake City of all places. Told me the guy that mouth hugged him did a good enough job but when he pulled his dong back out of the hole the smell that hit him from the guy's spit was so atrocious he almost gagged. Described it as shit puka bear. Holy shit that made me gag instantly. As a straight male, I just wanted to say I find it very difficult to masturbate to this thread. This thread has ruined glory hole porn for me moving forward. Turns out there's never a girl on the other side. I've never participated, but have always seriously wondered. How are people not scared that someone is gonna cut your dong off? My fear is someone stabbing a skewer through it. Then you're stuck there, bleeding, hoping to die before someone finds you. German gay club. I was early 20s. There's not much more to the backstory. Would I do it again? Probably not. Not that it wasn't fun, it's just I'm older now and married. Wouldn't be my scene anymore. Did you put a dong in it? Mouth? Butt? I mean if you're looking for a real answer. Right after I got back from college, I had an identity crisis and I honestly didn't know if I was gay, straight or bi. It was really ducking with me. Then one night after leaving a close friend's apartment I was walking back home to my apartment pretty intoxicated but not enough to visibly look intoxicated from a distance. I ended up wandering around and ended up in front of a gay bar. Drunk me made the decision to go in, justifying it to myself by just saying that I was only going in for another drink. I ended up have a large amount more and had to bleed the lizard. In the bathroom was a glory hole. My drunk brain thought, why now? So I waited till someone came in and I put my mouth to the hole and he very quickly put his dong in. I ended up sucking 3 dongs to completion before I got up and left. The next day when I realized what I had done I immediately went to the doctor to get tested. I got very lucky that night that I didn't get any STDs. Edit. Thanks for the gold, stranger. Edit 2. Well, this post has officially given me more karma than any other post. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I honestly didn't know if I was gay, straight or bi. I ended up sucking 3 dongs to completion before I got up and left. I've used a glory hole a couple of times before. I was the one who received mainly. However, of the 4 or 5 times, I can remember at least 2 leading to something more. One time, me and my boyfriend thought it might be a good laugh, so we used one in a pub in Brighton. It was pretty damn good, huh? Another time, oh dear, I was off my face and I waiting in the bathroom. A guy comes in. I hear a little tap, so I look and he has his dong out. I say to put it through. He put a condom on and put his dong through. Then talked himself in and out of it for about 5 minutes. He then convinced himself, and I guess me, asked for me not to do anything weird, ha 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 damn. Then proceeded to moan rather loudly and awkwardly even whilst other guys are coming in and out. Once he was finished, he pulled the filled condom off and tried to hand it to me on my side. Told me it was his first time in such a place and that he wasn't sure if he was gay, but he told me he had a girlfriend. He then asked for my number. Imagine being the guy who made glory holes socially awkward. Glory holes. Does he talk about his medical issues at the drive-thru too? Finally, something I can answer. I went to one last Saturday. I spoke to this guy on a site for swingers and he had a private glory hole in his home. After some talking we agreed that I would come over and he would suck me off. I turned up and the door to his house was open slightly, so I let myself in, and in his hallway there was a curtain with a few holes cut in them. I walked up to one of the holes, pulled down my trousers and used a wet wipe to freshen up. Afterwards I out my coke through and he started to play with me to get my hard, which didn't take long, and then he started suck-jong me off. The best blowjob of my life so far. Would definitely do it again. Speaking as a patron of gay spas bathhouses. Well, I guess that's most of the backstory right there. Bonus info about bathhouse glory holes. They tend to be oval shaped so as to accommodate different sizes. Cut into the wooden walls of booths. Well sanded and painted. Of course. The booths will typically have low stools on which to sit while you go to town on some coke. Some bathhouses feature glory hole alleys. That is, a row of glory holes one after another. On the other side of the wall is a raised platform, so all parties can stand while they enjoy their fellatio. Would I do it again? I can and will. And then again. And again. Back in the day, there was a glory hole club in San Francisco called the Glory Hole. I know. Anyway, their special thing was a series of clear acrylic booths with the holes, so you can see all the blowjobs in several booths while you had yours. But the appeal of a glory hole is you don't know who's on the other side and you can fantasize during the suck. I never liked the clear ones, but it was a novelty that set them apart. After reading this rather wholesome thread, sticking your dong through a hole is a fun and positive experience that most folks would rate 9/10. Came in expecting some mixed experiences, so I'm happy for them. Except for the rat trap guy. I would use a glory hole if it was duct taped. A man of exquisite taste. I never had any experience, but my friend had a bad one. Stuck his penis into a hole at a party and the person on the other side literally snapped a rat trap down on his penis. He ended up in the hospital and had to have a tube inserted into his penis to keep his hole from swelling shut so he could piss, and had to have some surgery for the vein in his penis. Luckily it still works without complications. He never did the glory hole thing again. Bro. That's assault. Did anyone get arrested? I saw a bathroom with a hole in it and I just stuck my dong through it. Turns out it was just the hole where you put the door handle in. Man. That dude shitting on the bathroom sure had a surprise. And so did the 3 fellows standing near the urinal. Honestly. A simple mistake anyone could make. How would I know you aren't supposed to have sexual relations in the restaurant's bathroom? After work functions are the worst. I nearly became an involuntary participant. I was at the local park in winter with a friend playing golf. As you can imagine, it was super quiet being that it was cold. I decided to use the public restroom. There were no urinals, only stalls, and I was about to pick one out, but just as I had a hand on the door I heard a shuffle. I very cautiously pushed the door open, expecting that if someone was on the other side they'd stop me. That didn't happen though. But inside there was just a fully clothed man a little older than me. Sat on the closed toilet lid. Fully clothed and grinning at me. There was a hole at around his eye level between the stalls. I very cautiously closed the door. Then left the toilets feeling quite uncomfortable. At a glory hole basement under a nightclub in Sydney, my friend and I decided to wander down during a drunken stupor. He was gay and I was unsure myself. We entered into a stall together and laughed at ourselves and the situation we were in. I went into the stall next to his and poked my head through the hole and said hello to him. There were holes on both sides of each wall and we were just a young bunch of kids having fun. Then a man walked into the stall next to my friends and just put his dong through the hole. My friend and I laughed and he poked and prodded the gentleman's penis while we were joking around and having a drunken fun time. Meanwhile, this guy who has his dong through the hole is probably just wondering why his member is being slapped and poked around. It was a very fun time and I look back on it fondly. I recently came across a woman with the name tag Glory and thought it would be such a delight if her last name was Hole. Imagine how many times in high school someone asked Glory about her holes. We have been on both sides of the wall in swinger clubs that have vetted members. We always use a flavored condom if we don't know who is on the other side and have never had a refusal when insisting upon it. One time a guy had a visible mark on his dong so we bailed out as a precaution. But other than that, the experiences have been a lot of fun. It can be strange not knowing who is sucking because the mental image is largely a sexy disembodied mouth. But there is no worry about looking weird and pulling faces. So you can focus on the raw enjoyment. We have not had any same-sex experience with it. As you can see who comes out of the room after, and usually if we receive, the guy waits and thanks us after. The most awkward thing is slinking away after finishing without being able to say thanks properly. D. My first visit at a swingers club. I went there alone as a 27-yo woman. Got hit on a lot. Declined every time. Went to the glory hole cabin and got around 14 guys off. One after the other. Took an hour or so. I felt great. Kinky and naughty and horny. And was proud of myself afterwards. Even though there were 2 guys whose dongs smelled really bad. But I guess that's a risk you take in this setting. Was happy. Would probably do it again. Jesus. 14 guys. Jaws of steel. I just enjoy sucking dong. And have also been ducked a few times there. I know it's a bit gross but I get so horny I can't help it. I also get tested regularly. And have never had an STI. Could you put a condom on the dong before getting ducked or is this against etiquette? Husband wanted to watch me. So I tried it. Ended up sucking 2 dudes plus him. Everything was overwhelming and the ick factor was too much. I'd never been in a porn booth. No condoms. And that ducking smell. With that smell I couldn't help all the panicked thoughts of infection or what the hell I was kneeling on. Also those things are not made for 2 people. I much prefer having space so I can have both cokes instead of choosing one or the other. I'd do it again if it had more space. Smelled more clean. And condoms were used. Also my body is weird and it's hard to deep throat anyone in that position. I feel like I'm cheating the stranger out of a better blowjob. Most were happy. But I know I would have done better if they were laying. So basically what I imagine would work for you is an old timey wooden coffin like you see in western shows but with a glory hole cut in the lid. That way they are laying down and you have literally all the room you'd need. I call it the last rites. You suckin'? A+ reference. Had completely forgot about it until I read your post. Today I learned glory holes are a thing outside porn videos. I have 2 stories. So I'm a B guy. But a few years ago I went to a gay sex venue in Melbourne. You know the sort. Pay admission. Give a fake name. Change into a towel. Away you go. I'm a chubby guy. And that's not everyone's cup of tea. But some literally don't care as long as they get some. Anyway, the venue was a bit like a maze with various rooms. There were a few public spaces. As in the size of a small lounge room playing porn. Where guys could get fondling and move to a private room as things got heated. Or some guys would just wait in the private rooms. Laying face down, wanting to be ducked. Or face up, wanting to do the ducking. But onto the glory hole bit. That was for more anonymity. The glory hole section was designed like toilet cubicles. So if one door was shut, the next cubicle if open was available. Every room had condoms and lube complimentary, which was great. I went into a vacant cubicle and instead of a mouth or hand signaling me, I just saw this bumhole pressed against the hole. I thought fair enough and proceeded to rip open a condom and lube up. But the other guy pulled away muttering about wanting it raw. And I'm like nope. In the end I found a guy who was happy just to wank off before I left. 2. I was on a road trip to visit friends. About halfway there I stopped for a toilet break. Then to get a tea from the cafe nearby. I finished my wee, jabbed my cigarette into this guy's coke and took off, before I get downvoted for being cruel. I'd like to point out this was a rest stop frequented by families and all sorts. And I would hate to think a small child would see that. Please. Do continue. Your agent thanks you. Ducking like and subscribe.